Good afternoon and welcome to another episode of Ask Mr. Long Island. My name is Michael Watt, aka Mr. Long Island, and our guest this afternoon is Rick Eberle. Rick is here. We're going to talk about the space at Westbury, one of the newest downtown theaters on Long Island. And Rick, thank you very much for joining us today.
Oh, thanks for having me, Mike. It's always great to spend some time with you.
It is fun.
Man.
The space, I'm so excited about the space. If you're not familiar with it, well, I know you're familiar with it, but if our viewers aren't familiar with it, they took over an old Calderon Theater in downtown Westbury. And the owner, well, you tell us. Tell us a little bit about the space, tell us about the history and why it's such a cool place.
So the space at Westbury, what makes it so unique is they kept the original structure. So it was an old theater, like you had said, a movie theater,
Right.
Which had gone through a few different
dating back to
renovations.
vaudeville.
Yeah, this is back to the 20s.
Right.
And so what they did was Cyrus Akakian, a developer in the area, had come in and he had gutted the inside because it was beyond repair. But what they had then done was spent time in renovating and refurbishing rather than just knocking it to the floor and starting with some new, boring, traditional structure. I mean, that's really the charm of the room, is that it still has a lot of the existing structures down to some of the old brick walls and ceilings and whatnot. So,
well, if I remember, the plan from the get-go was to demolish the building, and then the developer came in, he fell in love with what he saw.
Absolutely,
and
yes.
he just built upon that.
He did, and I think that his vision really came to fruition. And a lot of the artists that have come through have been marveling on the sound, on the look, because what you do when you keep these old structures, a lot more time was spent when they were building buildings back then on the acoustics,
right,
on proper materials, if you will, real brick, real steel. And a lot of times these days it's really more money intensive, and so there's cutbacks that happen. So I believe that by keeping the structure the way it was, they were able to keep not only just the charm, but actually the feel of the room and the sound as well, which is something that anyone that owns a theater that has a very high ceiling is very has to be understanding of, because that's a big challenge.
Well, when the theater opened with the vaudeville, you had to be heard in the back row, so the acoustics were really important.
Most important.
And aesthetically, talk a little bit about the feel, the look and feel of the space.
Well, what's really cool about it is they do have the floor standing, obviously, where they could also put seats down that holds about 1,000 people, and then they have about 800 seats behind that, and then in between, it's almost like, it reminds me of like Rick's from Casablanca, where they have like the tiered, so you have the floor, then you have the second tier where you can put like a VIP area with tables, and then there's the whole regular seating. So someone like Stevie Winwood just came in, and it was a phenomenal sold-out show, and there was people in all the different areas.
And I would imagine, because it's all different, like you're saying, all different ways you can enjoy the show, either sitting in your chair or at the bar with your friends, or mingling in a VIP type situation. I would imagine there was a lot of energy there.
Unbelievable, and the bar situation is great too. There's a bar in the middle there, and there's also a bar on the bottom right, and then additionally there are two more bars in the lobby area. There's one to the left in the lobby as you walk in, and then there's also a special spot, which I know you've been privy to, called the Lounge.
Right.
That was built inside the facility, because Cyrus not only had taken over that building, but he took over basically the whole street there.
Right.
And so now there's a lounge that does special shows as well, that has a film theme, that has an additional bar in there, that we do some signings in and whatnot.
Talking about the film theme, I mean, the chandeliers are old film reels dating back. Talk to us a little bit about that, and when you walk in, what's the sense that you get being in there?
I feel like you're walking into some huge celebration. It's not only is the space wonderful for concerts, but some of the most unbelievable bar mitzvahs and weddings and whatnot have already also been happening there, because as you walk in, it's just the grandeur of it. You walk into the lobby, and then as you walk into the ballroom, it has a dual staircase that goes up to the right and to the left. And you get a sense of the theatrics of a Brooklyn,
right,
or of a uptown New York City.
So there's a grandeur, but there's also flexibility, so that you could have back-to-back events and have the building look completely different.
Absolutely. There's been special LED lightings that's been put in. It's old, but it's state of the art.
Right.
They did come in
So the
and
best
they made,
of both worlds.
It really does have the best of both
Is
worlds.
there a website that people can go to?
It's thespace
Uh-huh.
at westbury.com.
Very good. Rick, thank you so much. We're going to take a quick break, and then we're going to come back, and we're going to talk a little bit about the event that you're spearheading next month called Made on Long Island. We're going to take a quick break. You're listening to Ask Mr. Long Island, featuring Michael Watt, a.k.a. Mr. Long Island.
Hey Larry, every week I watch your show,
As you should.
and I know so much about sports now. Thank you.
You should be learning about sports, and everybody should be watching all our other shows here on the Daily Blue.
Why are you promoting the other shows? I thought you were the king of the Daily Blue.
That's true, but I'm all about everybody. It's not always all about me.
No, it
all
really
about
is.
the team.
Every day I wake up and it says, today is all about me, Corinne. Don't
I've
lie.
heard that.
Don't lie. Tune in every week to the Daily Blue and you'll see Sports Biz with LD, and you will get a lot of information, updates in sports, and a little bit about Sports Biz.
And that's me, Larry Davis, Sports Biz with LD.
All right, we're back with the Ask Mr. Long Island. My name is Michael Watt, a.k.a. Mr. Long Island. Our guest today is Rick Eberle from the Space at Westbury. Rick, thanks for joining us. I understand you're spearheading organizing a musical event at the Space in Westbury. Why don't you walk us through that a little bit?
Sure. I got started in this crazy entertainment business as a musician, songwriter, since I'm 10, 12 years old. Had a
Okay.
bunch of songs on television shows, toured the country, did all that great stuff. But about 12, 15 years ago, I kind of took a step back and got more into the promotion side, working at Arista Records and running concert venues. And so lately what I do is I'm helping put on shows at places like the Space at Westbury, in addition to helping them with promotions. So I'm lucky at this show because they picked my band
Okay.
to actually perform as part of this special event, Music Made on Long Island. So it's 6 of the top artists that we found that we have on Thursday nights coming down to our lounge at the Space at Westbury.
Okay.
So Thursday nights, bands come in, they play on a smaller stage, they bring in their fans, and we get to see them and hear them and decide if they're worthy of the main stage, which obviously it's a huge room.
Sure.
So we have to make sure, number one, that they can bring a crowd, because nobody wants to play to an empty room.
Right.
And number two, that they have a good sound that a lot of people are going to be able to vibe with.
But by having the different bands bring their followings, you get to hear what the other bands are doing, what other, so if you're a fan of one band, you're going to hear a couple other bands?
Yeah, so there's 6 artists in total, besides
Yeah.
Iridescence, which is my
Okay.
band. We have Sophus, we have The Vinyl Plane, we have Nonstop to Cairo, we have Funkin' A,
Okay.
and that wasn't a bad thing, that's actually their name. You know,
Right.
like funk, like let's funk it up.
I'm
It's
not
really
that
cool.
old. I've heard the
They're
word
awesome.
funk. Don't worry about
you
it,
know?
right?
And I was saying it, maybe some of your listeners
Yeah,
and
okay.
and viewers. But and then also we have a band called Memphis Crawl, which is really, they're all really cool, hard rock, but not metal. More just go there, have a good time, listen to rock and roll, dance, meet some people, network.
So there's music that you really want to get exposed to, but it's also the venue is almost an equal part of the equation.
It really is, and we're trying, since we've only been around for a little over a year now, we're really trying to cultivate a more, an atmosphere where people are going to start coming there to the venue on a regular basis, just to check out what we have going on. I feel like right now we're very event-based, where,
Right.
for instance, you want to see Billy Idol and you see that he's coming in, you'll buy tickets. But we want to foster a different type of relationship, keeping with the downtown idea, keeping, the idealism that people can start taking a place and feeling like it's their home base.
Well, you can make a night of it, get something to eat, walk over to the theater, enjoy the show, and then afterwards there's places to go to afterwards. But it's also something new and different, which, you talk to a lot of young people on Long Island, and you hear complaints about the same old, same old.
Well, what's nice is at the Space that we're also offering some of these bands an opportunity to move on. And a company called Bowery Presents does most of the bookings
Okay.
of the major acts that come through, and they've agreed to let one of these artists that are playing this show open up for a national act when they come in. So the artist that they like the best. So it's not really a competition, but it's an audition of sorts. And, that's the only way that artists are able to thrive, is that they get the opportunity to maybe take the next step up.
Well, it's interesting. I went to high school with Brian Setzer, as I'm sure I bored you with. But Brian had to go to London to get discovered.
Tom Petty, Jimi Hendrix.
Well,
Old
I'm
story.
talking about guys from Long Island. You know,
But
Billy
I'm,
Joel.
you know,
Yeah,
that's an old story, unfortunately.
Long Island has a history of producing great musicians.
For sure. Oh, well, ever since you were Mr. Long Island years and years ago, you've had that moniker for many years. I remember us speaking about this
Sure.
way back in the day.
Yeah, but Blue Oyster Cult's from Long Island.
It's unbelievable.
Kiss had its first professional
Twisted
gig
Sister.
in Emerald, Twisted Sister, and Billy Joel and Brian Setzer, and so the history's there,
Yep.
and there's a good chance the bands that are going to be there they're on their way up.
You never know. You might
Yeah.
find the next big one off the island, and that's
Yeah.
really what we're trying to cultivate, and hopefully that's exactly what's going to happen.
And just to wrap up, the other aspect of it too is the space is really trying to lead the Cool Parade and really helping young people and people for whom that's important realize just how cool Long Island is.
Well, it's basically a homegrown family business. It's not corporate, really. It's not corporate run, where they have a little bit more leniency, and they're able to have leeway in making decisions like this and giving local bands better opportunity than they might not be able to be afforded in other places.
And and the venue really, you walk in and you get that vibe. Like somebody really cared. Somebody put a lot of time and effort into this building, and so it's a great selling point for Long Island. It's a great night out, and kudos to everyone.
June
responsible.
13th.
June 13th. The website is what?
thespace@westbury.com.
And they go there. They can get information about the event.
Get
on June
tickets,
13th.
get everything you need, absolutely.
Terrific. Rick, this has been great. Good luck with the space.
Thanks
Good
for
luck
having
with the
me.
event. Thanks for being here. This has been another episode of Ask Mr. Long Island. My name is Michael Watt, a.k.a. Mr. Long Island, and thank you for joining us today as well.